All right, let's talk about something that drives pretty much every plant parent completely crazy. We've all been there, right? You get a gorgeous new houseplant, you find the perfect sunny spot, you water it, you tell it how great it's doing, and then, a few weeks later, it just looks sad. The leaves are wilting, things are turning yellow, and you're just standing there thinking, what did I do wrong? It's probably the biggest mystery in the plant world. And you know what? Today, we're gonna crack this case wide open. So this is the clue, the one that messes with everyone's head. You see those yellow, droopy leaves, and your first thought is, oh, it must be thirsty. But then you stick your finger in the soil and it's already damp. Maybe it's even soaking wet. That contradiction, that's the key to this entire investigation. So what is the real story happening in this little botanical crime scene? Okay, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to put on our detective hats and start gathering the evidence. Your plant is giving you clues, big and small, and our job is to learn how to read them. So first up, let's go over the 6 most critical warning signs you need to look for. Now, these clues, they almost always show up together. You'll spot the yellow wilting leaves for sure, but don't stop there. I mean it, get close and actually smell the soil. If it has a musty or kind of sour smell instead of that nice, fresh, earthy scent, that is a huge red flag. You pair that with a little mold on top, or maybe you notice the growth has just stopped and the soil feels wet day after day, well, you're building a pretty strong case. Every single one of these is a piece of the puzzle. Okay, this right here, this is the #1 point of confusion, so let's just clear it up for good. Both overwatering and underwatering can give you yellow wilting leaves. The real tell is in the texture, so go ahead and feel the leaves and check the soil. If those yellow leaves feel soft, almost mushy, and the soil is wet, that's overwatering. If the leaves feel dry, kind of crispy, and the soil is bone dry, you've got an underwatering situation. It really is that simple. But look, if you want the definitive, undeniable proof, you have to go underground. You gotta have the courage to gently slide that plant out of its pot and take a look at the roots. Healthy roots, they're gonna be white, or maybe a light tan, and they'll feel firm to the touch. But if you see roots that are brown, or even black, and they're all mushy, maybe they even have a foul smell or just fall apart in your hands, well, that's it. That's the smoking gun. You found root rot. So we've gathered the clues, we've examined the evidence, and now it is time to unmask the killer. What is actually causing all this devastation? The answer isn't just too much water. It's what all that extra water does to the soil's environment. The real culprit is something called anaerobic conditions. Let me break it down. Plant roots, just like us, they need to breathe oxygen, and they get it from all the tiny little air pockets in the soil. But when you overwater, all that water floods those pockets and it pushes all the oxygen out. The roots can't breathe. They can't absorb nutrients. They can't even absorb the water that's surrounding them. Your plant is literally drowning, and those sad yellow leaves are its cry for help. And I really want you to let this sink in. Think about it. A thirsty plant can often bounce back just hours after you give it a good drink, but an overwatered plant, it is in serious, serious trouble. The damage from a root rot can take weeks, sometimes even months to fix. And honestly, sometimes it's just too late. This is why learning to water correctly isn't just a nice skill to have. It is the most important skill you can master as a plant parent. Okay, so you've confirmed it. Your plant is a victim of overwatering. First things first, don't panic. It's time to switch from detective mode to paramedic mode. We're going into an emergency response. Let's walk through the life-saving protocol that can rescue your plant. Here is your 4-step emergency plan. First, and this might seem obvious, but put the watering can down. Just stop watering. Second, gently slide the plants out of its pot so you can see what you're dealing with. Third, grab some clean scissors or pruners, and you've got to cut away every single root that is brown, soft, or smelly. You need to be ruthless here. Any rotted roots left behind will just spread the infection. And finally, give it a fresh start. Repot your plant in brand new, dry, well-draining soil, and please make sure the new pot has drainage holes. This gives those healthy roots a clean, oxygen-rich home to recover in. Now, I want to share a crucial piece of expert advice that might actually surprise you. You've probably heard people say you should fray or tease the root ball before you repot. Well, for most of our beloved houseplants, the answer is a big fat no. Only cut away what's already rotted. If you start messing with the healthy, firm roots, you can actually send the plant into shock and slow down its recovery. Just leave the good roots alone, and they'll find their own way into that fresh, new soil. All right, you performed the rescue mission. You're a hero. Now let's make sure you never have to wear that cape again. You know, the best way to deal with root rot is to stop it from ever happening in the first place. So let's talk about crime prevention for your plants. If you can just follow these 3 golden rules, I promise you will prevent 99% of overwatering problems. Rule 1 is totally non-negotiable. Your pot must have drainage holes. No exceptions. Rule 2, use a light, fluffy potting mix, not that heavy, dense stuff from your garden. And rule 3, this is the most important habit you will ever build. Always check the soil before you water. The good old finger test is your best friend. Stick your finger an inch into the soil. If it's still damp, just wait. And here is a pro tip that trips up even people who've been doing this for years. The watering schedule that worked perfectly for your plant in the middle of summer can become a death sentence in the fall and winter. As the days get shorter and there's less light, your plant slows down. It's not growing as fast, so it uses way less water. You have to adjust your routine and water less often to match what it actually needs. Now, if you're the kind of person who just wants to take all the guesswork out of the equation, a simple moisture meter can be your secret weapon. They're super easy to use. You just gently push the probe deep down into the soil, wait about a minute for the needle to settle, and then see what it says. The key, though, is knowing what your plant likes. A dry reading is exactly what a cactus wants to see, but it's a code red emergency for something like a fern. Oh, and always remember to wipe the probe clean after you use it. So there you have it. The case of the wilting plant is officially closed. You're not just a plant owner anymore. You are a plant detective. You know the clues to look for, you know the killer's MO, and you know the life-saving protocol. The power is now in your hands. So the only question left is, are you going to be the detective your plant needs you to be?